Hi guys, welcome back to another Hugh video. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at this waterproof, dustproof, durable smartphone that doesn't work. This is the BlackView 9800 Pro, a phone I've never heard of until finding it on eBay for $58. Never having worked on a durable smartphone, I thought this could be a fun project. That was until I took it out of the parcel. It's in worse shape than described. The most concerning of which is a large amount of moisture behind the camera lens. After all, this is supposed to be a waterproof smartphone. The phone was also described to have a screen in good condition. Now I know good is a relative term, but if they class this as good, I'd hate to see what they think a poor condition screen looks like. You might also just be wondering who even is BlackView. Well, up until a few weeks ago, I didn't know either. They're a Chinese phone company, and it turns out they reached out to me a few weeks ago about reviewing their new smartphone. I'm not a review channel, so I didn't take up the offer, but with one of their phones now in hand, I can experience the company for myself. On the BlackView product page, we can get an insight at just who it's targeted towards. It seems it's designed for serious adventurers, but not too serious as outlined in the fine print. I purchased this phone with no idea as to what hardware it is packing. It seems alright, but there's a few red flags I found while browsing the site. One of which was multiple IP certifications. The numbers following the IP indicate the grade of dust and water resistance respectively. How can a phone be rated two different results on the same test? Scrolling down a little further showcases its amazing photo capabilities. And I agree, for some random Chinese phone, they look like something taken on a real professional camera. That's because they are. A TinEye search reveals these are just stock photos, the first of which is dated well before this phone even came out. But it's not just one. Many of the photos have been taken from stock photo websites, in an effort to trick people into thinking these photos were shot on the BlackView phone. They even add the shot on BV 9800 Pro over the images. With such deceptive marketing, my overall expectations have plummeted, but it's time to test out our BlackView. Plugging in a USB-C cable, the phone draws nothing, almost like the cable is unplugged. With some wiggling, it begins charging at half an amp. But with any movement to the phone or cable, charging stops. It seems this phone has a faulty charging port. However, with the charge LED illuminated and the phone drawing half an amp, I left it to charge for an hour. Coming back, it still remains black and won't boot. With the lights on but nobody home, it's time to open it up and investigate. Oddly, this phone is secured with Torx screws on the back, sides and bottom. These have to be the biggest screws I've ever come across in a phone. With most phones held together with glue, it's nice to see this absolute brick of a phone open up a bit easier. While most of this phone is composed of plastic and rubber, the sides are made from aluminium. Once they're removed, you'll see the buttons will fall free, but the fingerprint reader below the power button will remain. While the aluminium sides had quite a bit of dirt buildup, the real damage starts to occur when you look at the side frame. You can see some wet residue left behind in the phone. There's one more screw we'll need to remove before we can take off the back panel and get an extensive look. Prying up the back panel, well, it's a complete disaster. If you look closely, you can see moisture evaporating on the plastic section at the top. Well, I've discovered the culprit to some of this phone's issues: salt water damage. So much for a waterproof design. Granted, not all water conditions are created equal. For example, I don't know any major phones rated for use in salt water or pools. For some reason, fresh water is much easier to keep out. But printing waterproof on the side of a phone is somewhat misleading, and with the product photos on several BlackView phones showing use in pools, it's easy to assume you could submerge it in the ocean. Inside, I found some damage to a piece of plastic down by the charging port, as well as a missing screw. Has someone done some kind of repair and not sealed up the phone properly? Or maybe they just opened it after it stopped working to see what was wrong. Now, as I'm not the original owner, I don't know what the phone was submerged in, for how long, how many meters, or if it was user error at fault. But what I do know is I clearly got scammed by a seller who knew exactly what they were selling. I could just give up and try and get my money back, but that's no fun. Instead, let's try and fix this phone. Right off the bat, it looks very different to any other Android phone I've ever repaired. I'll start by removing the daughter board before removing the plastic bracket that it's mounted to. Underneath is the motherboard. It actually doesn't look that bad at a first glance. Granted, water damage is very hard to judge. I've seen devices so corroded I can't get the screws out somewhat function, and others with the smallest damage never work again. So this will be a complete gamble. As such, I won't be spending a cent on the device, so let's see if we can get it to do anything more than it currently does. With the necessary flex cables unplugged, the SIM tray and 2 screws removed, I can lift up on the motherboard. But it's not budging. Something is preventing it from coming out. As it turns out, it's another first. The micro SD card slot has its own hidden tray beneath one for the SIM card. Inside is a 64GB micro SD card. What a score! We'll see if that works later on. With that hidden tray removed, the motherboard can come free. Before we take a closer look at it under the microscope, I want to check out the battery. It's fastened with 10 screws, or 9 for myself as one was missing. On top of that battery is a cable for the fingerprint reader that will need to be detached before I can take the battery out of place. Packed inside that metal case is a whopping 6,580 mAh battery. And it's screwed down, not adhered. Another first. This phone actually has quite a few neat features and design choices. Now it's come time to assess the water damage. I'll start with the flex cables. This first one is for the LCD. It looks burnt on one side, likely from shorting something out. If I had to guess, it'd likely be the backlight, meaning if we get this phone functioning, the screen might not light up. With things looking bleak, I continued on the search for more corrosion. It wasn't long before finding some on the charging port board. I'm going to do my best to clean as much of the corrosion off as I can in the hopes the phone will come alive. While doing this, I noticed one of the pins for the speaker fell off. This was the area I mentioned earlier about the broken piece of plastic. What's more fascinating is that it wasn't attached using solder, but super glue. I mean, just look at the hard goop all over the board. Someone clearly broke this off and just glued it back. I'll continue cleaning up regardless, as we don't need the speaker. We just want to see if we can get this phone to boot. Looking at the motherboard under the microscope, I can assess it, and a good portion of it looks okay, but there are a few bits and pieces around the board where you can see a slight bit of corrosion. But moving over to the right hand side, things start to get a lot worse. While we can clean off visible corrosion, it's very likely that some has gotten under IC chips, corroding their joints. This is not going to be something I can fix. If this phone was to come in for data recovery, most technicians would swap the NAND flash storage and maybe even the processor in some phones to recover the data. But we don't care about the data stored on this device, we just want to see if we can easily get it working. It's important to know that even if this device works again, it's not something you could call refurbished. I, for one, wouldn't sell this as a working phone to someone, knowing what it once looked like inside. As an extra measure, I even submerged the board in isopropyl alcohol to give this phone the best chance of revival. Under its shields, everything is now looking good and not corroded on the surface. We can also see the MediaTek processor and 128 gigs of NAND storage. As the camera connections are on the back of the motherboard, I'll need to connect the cameras first before installing the motherboard into the frame. After positioned, the 2 Phillips screws can be attached and the flex cables thereafter. It's now time to take your bets. Do you think this phone will power on, or at least do something, like vibrate or make a sound? The board definitely looks really clean, but I think that display is definitely cooked. After the battery is attached, the main plastic bracket can be reinstalled. Oddly, it also houses the main camera, which will need to be plugged back in. I can then go ahead and install all of the screws for the bracket before attaching the LED flash board. Before getting that back panel reattached, I'll need to secure the battery with its Phillips head screws. I'll attach the back panel and secure it down into place before we test out whether or not this phone will work. With the back and side secured, I can install the SD card tray and the SIM tray before we fasten the last Torx screw. Now comes the moment of truth. We have a red charging LED, and pressing and holding that power button, we see nothing. Nothing at all. I did test the battery both before and after charging, and I could see that it was actually being charged by the phone. I have left it for hours, and the phone just never powers on. But what about that SD card? Can we at least get something out of that? SD cards are known to be quite tough, so I'm expecting this one to work. After it was cleaned off, I tested it in my computer and it didn't show up. At a closer inspection, it's bent and has a crack all the way through it. So if you're wondering just how junk this phone turned out to be, I couldn't even save the SD card. So this is it, a complete disaster. I was totally scammed on this device, but the joke is on the seller because it's time I get my money back, but not before leaving them some negative feedback. While I forgot to mention half of the faults in my complaint, I did instantly receive a return label to be able to post it back. So I'm now free of the device with the benefit of having spent nothing at all, other than the time messing around with it. It's a shame we couldn't get it working, but you can't win them all. And on that note, this has been a Hugh Jeffries video. If you like what you saw, hit that subscribe button and consider checking out the restoration playlist for more videos just like this one. And if you're looking for any used devices, be sure to check out my online store, link for which is down in the description. That's all for this video, and I'll catch you guys next time.